For the longest time, the whole conversation around neurodiversity has been kind of stuck, right? Always focusing on what's missing or what's supposedly wrong. But that's all starting to change. Today, we're going to talk about a huge shift in thinking, moving away from a story of deficits to one of brilliance. Let's get into it.
Really, it all boils down to this one super powerful question. For decades, our answer to this has shaped everything, from therapy to education to how people actually see themselves. Is neurodiversity a bug that needs to be fixed, or is it a feature, a fundamental and even valuable part of human variation?
So, to really get where we're going, we've got to look at where we've been. And for a very, very long time, the answer to that question has been framed by the old story, a story focused entirely on deficits. This is the deficit model. And, well, it's been the go-to lens in therapy and education for years. It basically defines neurodivergence by what a person can't do. It's like a big checklist of shortcomings, all seen as problems that need to be corrected or, just eliminated.
So what's the big deal? Well, the consequences of this approach are huge. I mean, think about it. If you're constantly being told you're broken, it just destroys your self-esteem. Therapy can start to feel like a punishment, which of course limits how well it can even work. And maybe the worst part? This model completely ignores the incredible gifts, like intense focus or amazing pattern recognition, that so often live right alongside the challenges.
And this right here, this just nails the difference in philosophy. The old deficit model is built around one question: what's wrong with you? But this new approach, it flips that completely on its head. It asks, what's strong in you? That tiny shift in language, well, it changes absolutely everything.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea or a philosophical debate anymore. It's now being backed by some serious science. There's been a recent turning point that gives us concrete, biological evidence that we need a whole new way of thinking. 4. Just 4. I want you to burn this number into your brain for a second. It seems so simple, but it represents a massive, massive breakthrough in how we understand the autism spectrum.
So here's what it means. A landmark study from Princeton University actually pinpointed 4 biologically distinct subtypes of autism. Each one has different genetic activations, different developmental patterns. The takeaway here is crucial. This isn't just one single condition. It is a spectrum of very distinct neurotypes.
And this is a total game changer. This research doesn't just validate the idea of a spectrum. It allows us to start connecting these specific subtypes to unique strengths. And that right there paves the way for therapies that are super tailored, that build on those strengths, which completely shatters that old, broken, one-size-fits-all model.
Okay, so with that scientific validation as our bedrock, we can now talk about the new paradigm, the strength-based model. This is the real answer to all the limitations of that old story we were just talking about.
At its heart, this strengths-based model doesn't ignore the tough stuff. Not at all. It totally acknowledges the challenges, but it refuses to let them be the whole story. Instead, it puts a person's unique abilities and their potential front and center, making them the foundation for growth.
And just so we're clear, this isn't something pulled out of thin air. It's built on some really solid psychological foundations. It pulls from positive psychology, using character strengths to help people thrive. It's got roots in resiliency theory, which is all about the capacities we build through adversity. And of course, it's grounded in the neurodiversity paradigm itself, which sees brain differences as a natural and valuable part of being human.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Like in a therapist's office, or at school, or at home? How do you actually put these strengths into practice?
Well, here are 5 really concrete strategies. It starts by totally reframing assessments to look for what works, not just what doesn't. It means we celebrate special interests, we don't treat them like a problem. It's about building on someone's natural preferences, fostering communication that feels authentic to them, and, this is a big one, collaborating with families to change the whole conversation at home.
This table just lays it out so clearly. Look at the shift here. The old view might say a client has difficulty with transitions. The new view reframes that as, this client thrives with consistency, let's build on that. Instead of seeing a passion for trains as a restricted interest, you see it as an incredible tool to teach sequencing and math. You see? It's a total move from just identifying problems to actually discovering possibilities.
So why does all this matter so much? Because honestly, the impact of this shift goes way, way beyond just a therapy session. It really changes everything.
You get this incredible ripple effect. For clients, their confidence just soars. For families, they find hope in a totally new way to connect.
communities become more inclusive because they start to see and value these unique contributions. And therapy itself, it just becomes so much more effective because it's built on empowerment, not correction.
I think this quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. This isn't about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about fully acknowledging them while also naming and celebrating the brilliance that lives right alongside them.
Because when you get right down to it, the goal totally changes. You're not just trying to build skills so someone can fit into a neat little box. You are helping them build a strong sense of identity, the resilience to navigate the world as they truly are, and a genuine, powerful sense of hope for their future.
And that really leaves us with this one big question to think about. For so long, we've been laser-focused on finding deficits. It's what we were trained to do. But what happens when we start intentionally, systematically, looking for brilliance instead? Just how much untapped potential, how much innovation, and how much human thriving have we been missing all this time?